One major part of the calendar year may be gone, so we'll see what's that about. We'll also check out what's up with Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, and more. Starting things off with a major part of the calendar year that could be gone for good, and that's the draft. The draft has been happening yearly for a handful of years now, and it's always a fan favorite event. A lot of people look forward to the draft because it was the marking of the new year for the company. It was their opportunity to give all of their shows a strong facelift. They can freshen up rosters by sending talent to different brands. They could split tag teams or even call up some NXT talent as well. Just so many elements to the draft that was entertaining and really gave you a lot to look forward to when you saw all of their roster changes. Fresh feuds, fresh matchups, and fresh faces with the call-ups. The draft always delivered in those departments. And there's so many roster depth issues on Raw and Smackdown right now. Fans have been asking and begging for a draft to try and help these issues out. There's absolutely no one at all for Jade Cargill to face on Smackdown, which is an example of a major issue that a draft could resolve. Then you have other things such as the Vision feuding with CM Punk basically for the last 9 months. Maybe the draft could come in and shake things up there and give the Vision something new to do. But the initial rumor was that the draft would take place after WrestleMania 41. That was the big rumor going around at first. Then the rumor changed to the draft happening in the last few months of 2025. And now we see that there was no draft at all in 2025. According to new reports, the company may be done with the entire draft concept overall. There will allegedly be no more drafts going forward. The small replacement will be the creative team coming up with trades during the year whenever they see them fit for the storylines and narratives. Like earlier this year when LA Knight randomly came over to Raw, that was an example of those draft replacement trades they did there. And as far as how NXT call-ups will be handled without any drafts, they have already shown us the answer to that as well. We've seen Evans make a few appearances on Raw and SmackDown recently, and Michael Cole recently revealed that Evans will be a free agent within the company real soon, meaning that he will be able to sign with Raw or SmackDown, and that's how he will be called up. So no more call-ups through the draft. It's only going to happen once the creative team gives the NXT talent that free agent status, and then they will assign them to Raw or SmackDown. And with no more drafts, the only way rosters will get shaken up for fresh feuds is whenever the creative team decides to make one of these on-screen trades happen. The plus side to this is that there is not a locked-in time for this to happen. It sounds like these new trades and NXT call-ups can happen anytime throughout the year whenever the company so pleases. It's no longer just happening on the few days of the draft going on. They can now trade or call someone up at any time. So that is the cool part of it. They can just switch things up and freshen it up whenever they want. The downside to this, though, is the loss of the spectacle that is the draft. It is a fun event. Legends come out to announce the picks. Everyone is excited to see these massive roster changes. So the unfortunate part is that we're losing the entire event itself, with just a few trades and call-ups taking its place. So some fans are a little bummed out about the draft getting the axe here, but if they're going to fully depend on a trading system to handle roster changes, it will definitely be nice to see that come into play here soon, especially in those critical areas such as the world title scene in the women's division over on SmackDown. Jade Cargill has been champion for 2 months and hasn't had a solid first feud because there is no one at all there to face on SmackDown. So seeing some of these trades and maybe even some call-ups there could really help that situation. That's definitely a good place to start with. The draft very well may be gone for good, and we'll have to see if this trade system turns out to be a solid replacement for it. When Austin Theory was under the mask as the Mystery Man, one of our biggest questions was his move choice. When the Masked Man was unidentified, he pretty much only used 2 moves, both of them coming from Seth's arsenal, and that was the quick kick, followed up by the curb stomp. And the main theory we discussed was that since it obviously wasn't Seth Rollins under the mask, why was this individual using Seth's moves? Was it just to trick the fans and create false hype that it was Seth? Or was there a much deeper story and reason to this individual using the curb stomp? Was it a message from the Masked Man to Seth Rollins that he was doing this for him? Was the Masked Man a spy and inside man that Seth personally sent down to keep a close eye on the Vision, and that's why the Masked Man uses the curb stomp, in order to show where his true loyalty stands? It shows that even though he's infiltrating the Vision, he's still committed to Seth Rollins and the insider mission that Seth put them up to. We know Seth is coming for the Vision and the world title once he returns, so if he had an insider within the Vision telling him all their plans and ideas beforehand, that really could help Seth's agenda there. But that was the theory while the Masked Man was masked up. So how about right now, after the unmasking and after it was revealed to be Austin Theory? Well, surprisingly enough, the fan theory is still very much alive in certain ways. Austin Theory appeared on Raw this week, basically asking for a spot in the Vision. He noted that he covered his face so that they can see his actions and know his worth before they knew who he was. And that is a great reason there, no issue with that. Austin Theory owned up to all his mistakes from the past and how he's ready to get back on track with the Vision. And Paul Heyman basically gave Austin Theory a tryout for the Vision. It was Bronson Reed and Austin Theory versus CM Punk and Rey Mysterio. And Austin Theory was the one who brought the win home for his team by pinning Rey Mysterio. But once again, the interesting part is that Austin Theory no longer uses his own finisher. Even now being unmasked, Austin Theory used the curb stomp to pick up the win in that tag team match. So the fact that Austin Theory is still using the curb stomp, even unmasked and as himself, that definitely is worth questioning right there. Why the continued use of Seth's signature moves? That's the real mystery that's left here in this story, now that the unmasking has already happened. We know Austin Theory was under the actual mask, but his use of Seth's moves is the new element of the story that's pretty much under a mask itself, so to speak. It feels like the story wants us to question why Austin Theory is using that move, and it feels like there's deeper purpose there. But again, with this regime, you can never be too sure if something does really have a deeper meaning, or if it's something pointless that'll just get dropped down the line and never addressed again. So you just never know with this regime. It could be extremely meaningful, or it could be something useless and unimportant to the story. We don't really know which one of those paths they're going in for when it comes to this situation of Austin Theory using the curb stomp, but just for conversation's sake, let's assume it does have a deeper meaning. What can it be in regards to? Well, some fans are discussing the idea of Austin Theory's curb stomps leading towards the return of Seth's Messiah gimmick and faction. It was definitely a forgotten era in faction since they weren't around that long, but Seth did lead a faction in late 2019 and early 2020, and during the days of the shows taking place at the Performance Center in 2020, Austin Theory was one of the superstars Seth Rollins handpicked for his group and really believed in. Seth saw the future in a very young Austin Theory at the time and brought him into the group to work with him. We unfortunately didn't get to see that much happen there because the group was shortly disbanded after that. But the fact that on-screen history does truly exist between Seth and Austin, fans think it would give deeper meaning and connection if Austin Theory really was an inside man for Seth Rollins. The history is there, their friendship with each other dates back to nearly 6 years ago. Talk about long-term booking, it would be pretty insane if Seth uses his relationship with Austin Theory from 2020 for this new mission and objective against the Vision. The Vision was Seth's creation, and now he's using someone close to him in order to destroy the Vision from within and without even physically being around himself. That would set up quite the return scene for Seth Rollins, because even though he wasn't physically around for months, his presence was still there this whole time with the Austin Theory Insider mission. We just didn't know what was happening the whole entire time. So until Austin Theory properly explains his use of the curb stomp, it seems like this Seth Rollins spy theory is technically still in place, so that could be something fun to discuss in the coming weeks and months.
But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.